Welcome to Board Game Binge, the place where we bring you bite-sized, bingeable board game content from across the industry. I'm your host, James Staley, and in this episode, we're chatting with Doria Roustan from Grames Edition. Grames Edition is a French publisher whose Pay What You Want campaign for Micro Hero, Ulysses, and Achilles is currently on Kickstarter. Doria, welcome to the binge. How you doing?
Thank you, James. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really good. What about you?
I am doing fantastic. You know, when I saw this campaign, as you know, I've reached out to you guys a few times. I'm like, I gotta get you on the podcast. I want to talk about this kind of pay-as-you-go model. I find so fascinating. As a publisher myself, I haven't got the guts yet to try it, but I'm getting close because it is a model that seems to work, and it's something that I've seen a few do very, very well, and clearly your company is doing well with it. But before we get there, first I want to know a little bit more about you. Now, you have a broader team, and you are the editor, project lead. What's your role kind of and then I know I butchered the name of Graham's Edition. Maybe you can give us the proper pronunciation of that as well.
Sure. It's Gram Edition. So we're a French company. We make it tough on English speakers because we have a lot of R's in all of our names, like in the companies, but also in the names of the people. We are a really, really small team. We are only 3 people in the team. The company was founded by Léandre Proust and Adeline Deslais. They founded the company in 2020, especially to publish the games that Léandre creates. One of our little particularities is that we only publish games that are created by Léandre, which is who is the founder of the company.
Okay.
So we don't really work as most publishing houses works, which means we don't look out for prototypes made by exterior creators. For now, we are really focused on games that are designed in-house. So yeah, my role in the publishing house, I was recruited last year, so early 2025, to join the team as an editor and a project manager, if you can say that. So, especially on the series, Micro Hero series, which is the series we are going to talk about. So it's kind of
That's awesome.
appropriate.
And I know for people that are going to check this out afterwards, Micro Series, this is I think the second game that's come. There was I think it was Micro Series Hercules first, which again
Right.
funded very well. I think it was something like 79,000
Mhm.
euros that you guys raised on that. So you were hired a year ago. How did they find you, and what were you doing before that? Like what was your role in the industry?
I started working in the industry really young.
Mm.
I'm currently 36, and I started when I was 19. I started when, so I'm passionate about board games since I'm a kid. My father taught me everything about board games, role-playing games, video games when I was very little. So I kind of always loved that. And when I was studying publishing, but for books. And I discovered the publishing scene of the board game industry in France while I was working in a board game specialized shop. So I started in the industry at 19, selling board games,
Mm.
basically, for a few years. And then I interned at several publishing houses specialized in board games. I made an apprenticeship. It's kind of tough for me to pronounce, but I think it's apprenticeship
Yeah, apprenticeship, yeah.
with Matagot when I was
Oh
finishing my
wow.
master's. So I worked with them for a little more than 2 years. And then I was recruited by Funforge. I don't know if you know, they made Tokaido, for example.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So and then I worked for them for a few years as well. So basically, like every time my roles were um, versatile because they were at that time very small companies too. So we were like a few people. So I always kind of had the double major publishing and communication because when you are a small team, you have to do
Hmm.
kind of a bit of everything.
Yeah.
So that was really, really interesting experiences. And then I wanted to explore board games in a different way because I started very young and I think I had to see something else before uh, I pursued. So I started my own small business and I freelance for a few companies. So I use gamifications for companies that weren't related at all to the board game industry.
Hmm.
But because I wanted to see what board games could offer to areas of work or life that are not related at all. And so I did that for a few years too. And then publishing, I missed publishing. So so when
When
I found, yeah, sorry.
I was gonna say when you did the gamification
Yeah.
in working with these other companies, was it like a consulting role where you'd go in and it'd be like training through gamification or more team building through gamification, or what kind of gamification were you doing with these companies?
Kind of bit of both, I guess. I worked a lot in the digital, especially e-learning, but
Mm,
also in digital marketing. So it was kind of bit of both. I went into offices and like um, organized some team building exercises or events, but I also build gamification strategies for engaging audience or clients or like so it was kind of um, very large
hmm.
range, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I missed publishing because it was my first calling. It's also where I like my studies are in publishing, and I really really love the seeing a game uh, be like be born. I don't
Yeah.
know if you say that in English, but I guess going through the entire process from the prototype to the finalized board game is amazing to me, and so I missed publishing. So when I saw that Gram Edition was looking for someone, I sent in my resume, and so that's how they found me, I guess. So
And I can see why they
here I am.
chose you. I mean, if you look at, like, I'm just doing the math, you've been in the industry for 17 years.
Yeah, right.
That is more than double most people that are doing this. Like, so
Yeah,
you have a very deep, robust background in this industry, which I'm sure is serving your company well, right?
I hope so. But yeah, I started very young, and I am lucky to have started that young because I see that I think I'm kind of I don't know if I can say that, but I feel like I'm one of the first generations,
Yeah.
like around 35-ish, that are the first in France anyway. Um, Wave of people that directly professionalized right after their studies, whereas the industry was pretty young.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people that are in the industry have been here in the industry way longer than me are not directly how do you say they kind of had another job before they went
Yeah.
into board games
That's
and
fair. Yeah,
right
most
and
people come
so
from like another industry. They're a digital
right
programmer or they're working for some large corporate company and they just want to get away from that and get into
right
doing something that's fun. And you've done the opposite. You've literally started your entire career,
yeah
like right from inception, was been all board games, right?
Yeah, which is really cool. And
Yeah.
also, when I wanted to see something else, was kind of a bit tougher because I only knew board games, and for a lot of recruiters in France anyway, in other areas, games are not necessarily taken seriously. So
Yeah.
not enough anyway, I think. So it's yeah. So I'm happy to have been to specialize that soon. And I feel like I've seen a lot of different,
You've seen some
um,
stuff for sure.
yeah, actors. You know,
Yeah.
being in a board game shop teaches you a lot about relationship with the customers, but also with the players, because you're like the first interface with between the players and games.
Yeah.
And as a publisher, it helps me also anticipate some of the needs for retailers, because you have certain constraints and certain needs that needs to be taken care of to
Yeah.
be able to present and push a game as well as you can. So I think in general, knowing um, all the needs and how the works of every um, uh, parts of your industry, every steps and every
Yeah.
actors of your industry, is it's very good to be able to anticipate all of that,
What's the
I think.
biggest change that you've seen in this, or what's, it's not the, maybe not the biggest, but what's a change that you've noticed from kind of when you first got into it to where we're at now? Like, has there been something you've seen that's been a, like really a fundamental shift at all?
So many things changed. I don't know which one
Give me one.
to focus on. I feel like when I started back at 19, games were quite considered as nerdy
Yeah.
or for kids. So I know that growing up, so when I was a teenager, for example, just before I started in the retail, in the game shop, I I I I hid a little bit my passion for board games, because most of my schoolmates didn't really get that I love to play board games with my father. Was
Mm,
not considered as cool, you know.
yeah.
But one of the main changes that I've seen is that this completely shifted in the past 20 years, because in France, and I think a little bit everywhere, we've seen a lot of different ways of playing.
Mm,
You have all the escape rooms that didn't exist back then, when I started anyway. The game bars. I don't know if you call
yep.
them that. Yeah, game bars where you can like just play a board game, drinking a beer, and or just yeah rent it. This didn't exist either, and now we have like actual plays for role playing, which is really really popular. Like you have all those like gaming in general. I feel like even video gaming, everything related to gaming, I feel is way more democratized,
Yep. Yeah,
way
that's
more
fair.
popular. Like, and so it's changed also because the board games we create kind of had to also follow and adapt to the new public and the new players that began and now are in this big player community. So before we had like less games, for example, but more experts or geekier, if I can say so. But now we have also a lot of games that are like more light or in between two categories, because
Hmm.
we have way more players and way more profiles and way more contexts of playing too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think like it's a lot diversified. I
There's
feel.
definitely a lot of crossover between genres now, right? So
Mhm.
even before we'd have like RPGs, right? it
Mhm.
would be its own category, and there's never really any cross. And now you're starting to see like, okay, there's going to be some RPG elements crossing over with this other type of mechanism, and then this mechanism is going to kind of cross over with that. Where, think back to Yahtzee, which was the original dice drafter, right? And or dice chucker, I guess. And now you're seeing that elements combined with other mechanisms that create even greater games, right? Which I think is really exciting.
Right.
For your team, you've taken this path of going down this kind of pay what you want campaign, which is another kind of innovation, but innovation in different ways. An innovation in terms of how crowdfunding happens, right?
Mhm.
So, and when I look at right now, I'm gonna put this in Canadian dollars. It's the only way I can see it. You still got a week to go, so you will definitely fund way higher than this. But you're sitting right now at 77,000 Canadian dollars, 3,447 backers. Still 8 days to go on your current Micro Hero campaign. Can you walk me through the decision to do this kind of pay as you go, and how does a pay as you go work for those that maybe don't understand?
Mhm. So first, the pay as you go. So the pay at what you want model
Yeah.
in the Kickstarter campaign is that you literally give what you want. So it's starting €1 because, well, I think it's reasonable, €1, especially for this campaign. It's two board games,
Yeah.
two different ones. So we have Micro Hero Ulysses and Micro Hero Achilles, which is a bundle basically
Yep.
of the two games for starting €1. So you can either give €1 plus shipping fees, because we can't offer shipping fees,
Sure.
like in addition to the pay what you want model, or we would lose money,
Yeah.
and we can't do that. So, but basically, you can give what you want. So if you, for example, if things are a bit tight, you can like give just one or maybe €5 for both games. If you want to pay the right, well, there's no right price, but we have shared like a sort of a table of different prices so that people can project themselves into um, what kind of prices they could give and what it would mean for us, because we've seen with this model that it allows a lot of freedom
Hmm.
for people to give what they can basically, or what they want, but it also creates a bit of confusion sometimes because we are not used to having no idea of what the cost of something is.
Hmm.
So that's why during this campaign we shared some sort of range between different prices.
Yeah.
But basically, you give what you want and you get the games. So that's how it works
Is
for the
shipping charged
payers.
afterwards? Do you like is it shipping charged at the time of pledge, or do you guys do as like through like a pledge manager afterwards?
We don't use Pledge Manager, so it's during the campaign. It's Kickstarter that is basically calculating the shipping
Okay.
fees depending on like the localization of the players.
Yeah. It's interesting. Oh, I was going through the math just really quickly. We were talking here. So you're averaging about $22 Canadian a
Mhm.
pledge. So that's like, I guess probably 17 euros, maybe 15 euros because our dollar sucks. But $15, yet if I look at the shipping costs, I mean, I think on the high end, maybe it's like 5 euros or something like that,
Yeah, it's €5.
for shipping, which to me seems low. But
Right.
that's very telling because that means people on average are, even though you say you can pay whatever you want, a dollar is kind of the standard, they're still putting in, 12 to 15
Yeah.
dollars.
Yeah.
So is there psychology behind this that you guys have kind of studied to think like to figure out, okay, where will people likely land in terms of a range, or what's kind of the like take me through the thought process of how you guys figure this out?
Right. So how we started this mode, like it started with the foundation of Gram Edition, because Léandre, so is our author and
Yeah.
our founder, and he created a board game, a card game, which is called Clash of Decks.
Hmm.
And it is with Clash of Decks that Léandre started and tried for the first time this pay what you want model. The idea was to try like and have the game being discovered by as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So because it's an evolution card game,
Hmm.
and so it was the first deck, like the starting pack
Hmm.
that was first founded that way. And so it was like a really small deck of cards. So like not expensive to produce, not expensive to send. And the idea was to create the biggest community possible to then have other campaigns like after that that
Mm.
would be best followed because like people would already know the game and so already be convinced by how it works and the fun you can have with it and the concept of it, etc. So it like the pay what you want model is has two main properties for us. The first one is to be accessible to as many people as possible because we care about making accessible games to anyone, even if budget is tight at some point, and because we believe that board games are not should not be reserved to people who have uh, more means.
Hmm.
I feel so that is really important to us, but it is also strategically interesting
Hmm.
because every time, like when the pay what we want model allows more people to contribute and to discover the game. And so those people, if they're convinced, then they can follow you to like when you push other projects
Yep.
afterwards. So that's how we created our wonderful community of players because now when we suggest or create another project, we have this base
Hmm.
that already knows us and can follow us if they like the new propositions.
It's very smart. There was another company that recently I'd interviewed. I can't remember the name of them. And they had this little robot card game, and same thing. They did a pay as you want, and then they followed that campaign up with 2 months later. They had an actual large board game that they hit the same audience with because it was the same theme, right?
Yeah,
And what a lot of people don't consider in the math, but I know you guys have, is there is a value to each of the people, to the leads, right? Emails have value.
sure.
And, I was recently, there's a podcaster I follow that does like a lot of entrepreneurial business things.
Mhm.
And his recent episode, he was talking about how he went from making something like $60,000 a month on Facebook with his Facebook page, which he was monetizing, to zero because Facebook just pulled the plug, right? Just
Yeah,
just randomly pulled the plug.
yeah,
And really, email lists is the last asset out there that you still control, right?
sure.
So if you are building up an audience in with a crowdfunder or with say one of these pledge managers, if you are not grabbing those emails yourself, you could have the largest Instagram following, you could have the largest
Yeah,
TikTok following, and in the snap of a finger, that audience can be ripped out of your hands
mhm.
in seconds. And having the large email list is something that you can control and it's something that can survive those kind of changes. So when you do something like a pay-as-you-go campaign, typically, or not pay-as-you-go, I keep saying pay-as-you-go, is pay what you want
Mhm.
campaign. Typically, you're going to have a large number of people, like 2,200 people or whatever the followers is not a small number. That's a huge number of followers you
Right.
have on or backers you have on your campaign right now. And the math that you need to add on top of that is, yes, you guys have generated $77,000 in pledges, but you've also generated north of $15,000 worth of emails because to go and do a lead generation campaign on Meta, you're going to pay anywhere from $5 to $9 per lead
Sure.
to get people's emails to
Yeah,
then communicate
yeah,
with them and try to get them back your campaigns. You've been able to do it here, and the people are literally paying you to give you the leads versus you paying them to give you the leads. So it's a very clever model. And when you kind of look at the valuation, and especially if you're a publisher that plans on doing a succession of launches. So it's not just one and done. Like you guys have obviously a plan to keep launching games and having this kind of hybrid mix model where we're going to say, okay, we're going to do some pay what you want, and then we're going to come with some larger games, and then we're going to now cultivate that audience we've created to then do these larger games. Is that a fair way of kind of articulating what the strategy is?
N- n- not entirely, but
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, sure. There's a lot of value in this community that has
Yeah.
been created around our model. Um, I just want to talk about well, I don't know how it went for the other company when
Yeah.
they launch a larger project. There's a lot of good into the pay what you want model. There's also a lot of constraints. So
Yeah.
basically we have to be really careful about the format of the game. So we specialize in a small format with only cards.
Yeah.
It makes also the model possible both in terms of production but also in terms of shipping fees. That's why also our fees are reasonable. This time we launched 2 games because we can minimize some production costs, for example.
Yeah.
So that's why we can offer both games. But there's I feel like at least part of the community that is built around a pay what you want model might not follow you if
Mm.
you launch a larger game.
That's fair. Yeah.
Also, like because I feel like we reach people that would maybe not go for larger projects on Kickstarter
Mm.
for a lot of reasons. Either it's because it's too expensive, or it's because they backed in the past projects that didn't came through, or
Yeah.
were really late because it was complicated project with a lot of materials, figurines, or whatnot. So I feel like there's more um, distrust sometimes in the Kickstarter like in the Kickstarter model in
Yeah.
general than like 10-15 years ago maybe.
Mm.
So I feel like we reach some people also because we offer this model and this type of board games.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying we will never push a bigger game on Kickstarter. We tried actually to like a different model with Morph. I don't know
Hmm.
if you saw this campaign that we launched in back in September 25. It didn't go as we planned, so we stopped the campaign after a few days for several reasons. Not just because it was not the pay what you want model, it was also because it was targeted to be a TCG.
Hmm.
So we like shifted and we changed the game to be more around like more along the lines of an evolving deck card
Mm.
game
Yep.
than collectible card games, which is simpler to produce, simple to buy to, and stuff like that. And because we asked our community, and that is really really cool, is that because we have those contacts, we can directly ask our community what they like, what they didn't like, and then shift and adjust our projects around what they are expecting. And some like we do our best. Sometimes we can't satisfy everyone and
Yeah.
without compromising the entire project, of course. But it's really special to have that kind of responsiveness. I feel we are very lucky because people are really engaged with us.
Yeah.
So when we ask when we ask them what they like, they actually answer, which is really precious to us. Because you can ask and sometimes like nobody answers you, but our players are really engaged, and that's really, really precious to us.
Yeah.
So yeah, our plan is not to like alternate between like pay what you want model and
Hmm.
larger games. For now, and also because it's along our editorial line,
Hmm.
we specialize in minimalist games. So it's really unlikely that we will one day make like a big figurine war
Sure.
games. So
What I would say though is still the value of that email list is
mhm,
still something you can keep cultivating even for your
sure.
pay what you want campaigns going forward. So there's definitely value there. Can you talk very quickly about Ulysses and Achilles? Like, how do you play these games? Can you give us kind of an overview of how these work?
Sure. So basically, the Micro Hero series started last year with Micro Hero Hercules, which is a deck building roguelike solo game.
Hmm.
And for the anecdote, the Hercules was firstly created by Léandre, and it was made first as like not a side project, but a new project with no necessary like ideas of like following along with the, like a large series. But because it's um, like the community responded so well to Hercules, um, it unlocked the possibility of making it a series. And so this series is always the same format. So it's always 55 cards. It's always a solo game, always following a Greek hero, and always with this identity of a bit humoristic illustration, anachronism, and stuff like that. So it's basically like rewriting mythical stories.
Hmm.
In Ulysses, you want to help Ulysses to get back to Ithaca in one piece, preferably. But you have to sail through the sea, which is not calm because Poseidon doesn't like Ulysses and is trying to keep him from going back to Ithaca. So basically, you will have to make poker hands with
Mm.
like you will have to pick in the sea cards, constellation cards that will like make your poker hands. And after each hand, you will compare it to Poseidon's hand. You want to beat Poseidon's hand, but not too much because um, gods do not like to be humiliated by mortals. So if you have like a wrath gauge, and if you beat it too much, like if your combination is way stronger than Poseidon's, then the wrath will increase.
Hmm.
But if you lose your hand, Poseidon's will advance on his Poseidon track. And when he cannot advance anymore, you lose the game. So you will have to go through 4 complete rounds. Each round is composed with several hands. Um, and so you want to survive all 4 rounds
No, that's cool.
without Poseidon's going over his track. In the card, so in the sea, you have it's composed of face down sea cards, and behind those that you reveal by picking them, you will also have trial cards, which are um, showing the different trials that Ulysses goes through in his Odysseus,
Hmm.
Odyssey, Odyssey, I think. So you have Charib and Scylla, you have Circe, etc., etc., and each card is, of course, a bad effect for you, which will make the game harder. And your hero cards have special powers that you can activate. So Ulysses has 3 powers you can activate by paying in Wrath, and it will allow you to have more flexibility in the game or control. So yeah, that's it. And you can also play because we included a 2-player mode, which is a cooperative mode.
Hmm.
Because in every micro hero games, you will also have a way to play at least with 2 players as well.
That's cool too. And then the other one, how does the other one play?
Yeah, and so Achilles is very different. This time, Achilles decided to stop fighting because it's really tiring, and he became a sports coach for an Olympic team. So now he's training athletes, and you have a deck which is always in your hand with different kind of athletes. So you have 8 disciplines of 8 different sports. and athletes. And those athletes, oh, that's tough to say. Those athletes, you want to train them, but also to organize them in your deck, because each sports has a way of scoring at the end of the game, which depends on the cards that are before, after, or around them. So you want to make them stronger, and you want to place them strategically into your deck. The game is composed of 4 rounds as well. Each round you're going to go through your entire deck, and once you went through your entire deck, for 4 times, you will count your points, and the goal is to make the higher score. So you don't really have a way of losing. You just try to perform the best you can. We have also a table in the rules for you to see how well you did, if it was complete humiliation, or if your performance was divine. So it really depends on how you did. And the 2-player mode is a competitive mode, because in the box you will have a second entire set to make an entire deck, and your opponent will play Hector, and you will try to make to have the best score. So it's going to be competing against Hector's team.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, congrats to you guys on this. When I look at the shipping cost being as low as it is, I was surprised, quite frankly, because I would expect at least some profit to be built into that. It doesn't seem like you guys have done that at all. Once you take your manufacturing cost and your shipping costs, you seem to be pretty much right exactly on like a just straight cost model. And when I heard there was 55 cards in a game, like I was expecting this to be like a 16 card game. These are not 16 card games. These are larger games, right? So a lot of value here, and I'm sure that's why the backers have supported you guys so strongly, because they can see that themselves. I'm going to encourage people to check this page out. I am going to put a link in the show notes. So at the very least, check out the pay what you want model. I'm saying this out to the audience. It's a fascinating thing to look at. If you're looking at getting into games yourself, this could be something you might want to explore in terms of a model to follow. And certainly I'll be following your company for quite some time, because you guys have really figured this out. And I want to wish you all the best of success in this coming year and with this campaign.
Thank you very much. That's really kind of you.
No worries. You take care. Cheers. This has been an episode of the Board Game Binge podcast, hosted by James Staley, produced by James Staley and Mike Bruner, with original music by Nick Smith. If you would like to watch these interviews live, simply subscribe to our YouTube channel, Board Game Binge, and you'll get access to live interviews, giveaways, and interesting board game content from across the industry. I can't wait for you to join us. See you next time.